You're listening to the Profit Connections podcast. Entrepreneurs and franchise owners, you'll want to tune in. If you're looking to create a rock-solid business, sick of being stuck on the plateau, and ready to kick it up more than just a notch, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Sharon Galuzzo, and I believe in unleashing your full potential to create resilient, successful businesses that in turn make significant positive impacts in our world. Welcome to the Profit Connections podcast. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of the Profit Connections podcast. We are here with Susan Butler today, and she is such a bright light. If you're watching the video, if you're looking on the screen, she's got pink and blue and purple, and she's just popping off her background. And that to me already brings in light and energy and fun. And so you know how much fun we love to have on this podcast. So I am so super excited to bring Susan Butler to you today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand her the mic and let her introduce herself.
Thanks, Sharon. Appreciate it. My name is Susan Butler, and I have over 30 years in the financial industry, certified financial planner, financial advisor, all in the background. Um, However, I did give up those licenses so that I could do coaching because it does not, the SEC, if you're selling securities and what have you, wants to know everything you say to everybody. And believe me, in coaching, there is no saying the same thing to any two people. So, um, but all that is in my background. So it is there. I do have the financial background, but I also have the life coaching mastery that I've been working for years on. And combining these two together, I can help empower women develop that empowering energy around money and finance and realize more prosperity and clarity, simplicity, and financial freedom.
So, Susan, something that you said, I would love for you to just expand on it just a little bit, because what I know is that whenever people hear something, they see their own picture. So tell me from your perspective, what do you mean by life coach?
Well, money is not just the fundamentals or foundations that you think of. You can go to a financial advisor, and if you say, here's my money, take care of it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have no engagement, no involvement necessarily. They'll ask you a few questions about your goals and what you want to do with it. But their job is to make you money.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't give you the engagement. So there's a lot of life coaching involved in how you relate to money, how you think of money, how you deal with finances, how are you raised around it? What beliefs did you form? What mindset do you have? I mean, this is all a huge area that's really the foundation and fundamentals of being able to gain more prosperity and gaining that financial freedom.
Yeah. And so what I'm hearing is that there's the practical money side, the things that, everybody is slightly aware of or maybe very aware of, and your financial planner will tell you the nuts and bolts. And what you're
Mhm.
doing is you're actually pulling back the curtain into what's going on for the person as it relates to money. Is that correct?
Yes, very much so. And how you really have the control over your destiny
Mm,
with money. It's not turning it over to the financial planner or the financial advisor and saying, "Here, make me some money."
mm,
Um, because 100,000 to one person is nothing, 100,000 to another person is everything in the world. So it's not just the amount of money that you make. It's how you deal with it, how you think about it, how you take it in, how you spend it, everything.
right. And can you talk a little bit about, and I don't know how deep you want to get into it, that we have unconscious, I will use that word, we are not aware of sometimes of the money blocks that are keeping us from our business being as successful as we want it to be, our investments getting the return that we want. Even just uh attitudes about other people. Like I've heard people say, oh, there shouldn't be any billionaires in the world because billionaires are bad. And the billionaires that I've seen are terrible people. And how just that attitude about maybe one area of people with a lot of money can actually become a block or is from a block inside of us.
That's very, very true. And most of it, like you said, we're completely unaware. Sometimes you will be aware that that is your belief and it comes out on the surface when you talk to people or anything, but most of the time these are all buried inside of you. They're part of your subconscious and how you were raised, things you learned in school, people you were surrounded by that had influence on you, and you don't even realize what an impact that has had on the rest of your life. And if you think about it, if say your attitude is that, rich people are, because of all the people that that are rich, they're kind of greedy and selfish and maybe they don't do a lot of good for other people like you'd like to do. And so you think, well, gosh, everybody, all these people with a lot of money, my gosh, they're just always out for themselves. And money is an energy. And if you have that kind of energy around money, it's not going to be attracted to you.
Hmm.
You are going to self sabotage your own efforts and push money away that you could be bringing in
Yeah.
just because of that thinking.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and it goes into a little bit of some people want to think about it as woo, but honestly, it's not. It is really a a reflection of what you feel. Like, let me take it out of the money arena for just a second. You've heard of those people who are single and they want to get married and they want to have relationships and they go out and they date and they do all of these things and there's so much energy around it and they just seem to get rejected and rejected and rejected. And yet they get into a loving, secure relationship and they go into those same environments and now everyone is attracted to them. Now guys are talking to them. Now girls are talking to them. Now they're very attractive because they're showing up differently in that space. And the
Their
same,
energy is different.
yeah, the same is true around money. And I think that's something that's not commonly known.
No, and okay, think about it. I've got 30 years in the financial industry. I have a very analytical mind and my background and everything else. But when I started getting into all of this information and learning about the energy of all this, my initial reaction was woo woo too.
Yeah.
but but then I started really looking at it and looking at the scientific backing, how your brain works, how you're able to make changes in your brain at any age. And, this is all scientific fact.
Yeah.
And so, this is where you can meld the two together, between what you think is woo woo and what is
Yeah.
um, normal, what is scientifically backed. And so that's been my fascination, is learning how all of this truly is scientifically backed. And it's not out there. It's what you think and how your energy moves. That is what's going to bring you results.
Absolutely. And there is so much science in this area. You are actually can create different neural pathways in your brain. Like you can see like images. I actually just saw a video today of neural pathways. I don't know if it was actually neural pathways being reattached. It might have been an illustration. And there are, it's scientifically, our brain is not static. It's plastic. It can change, and we are creating new pathways and learning new things. That you can't teach an old dog new tricks is absolutely wrong. That's
Mhm.
100% wrong. Maybe it's true for dogs, but it's not true for humans. You can teach and any human new things. And actually, the more things that we learn and the more we dig into new information and creating new neural pathways and challenging our mind and all of that actually helps us be more healthy and helps us be more connected to the community around us, our businesses, our families, our friends, our world, by continuing to do these things with your mind, doing mindset work, doing creating these new pathways and creating a complete
Exactly.
change.
And this is what I help people do. You become aware of some of these things that have created these blockades for you. And why are you self-sabotaging? You become aware of these things and then you're able to change them.
Hmm.
We modify through exercises and techniques. We can modify ways of changing how you approach that, how you think about it, how you can then change your results.
Cool. Can you just pick like one or maybe two of like the most common blocks around money and finances that people have that they're not aware of?
Well, you hit on probably the biggest one, which is people thinking about, you know, rich people that they see on TV or whatever that have that negative vibe, that
Mhm.
are not just so philanthropic and so giving and wonderful. And that in itself can make it so that you don't realize that you'll think of yourself that way if you start making more money.
Mm, yes.
And so therefore you actually, without even thinking about it, self-sabotage your success.
And there is a reality of saying that I want X success. I want a seven-figure business. And yet you can't seem to get there. And a lot of times that's structural. That's my world. I can help you build your business foundation. However, there may be something inside of you that's protecting you from becoming that seven-figure business because that in some way is dangerous for you. So we're going to keep you
Hmm?
right where you are. We're not going to let you scale. That we're safe right where we are. And there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the background that we say we want something, and yet we don't do it and we don't have it. And it's a principle across everything. It's actually in the Bible. Why do I say what I want to do, but I don't do it? It is, I mean, it's across everything. And people don't even recognize that they say they want something, they really think they want it, but deep inside, there's something that's blocking that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because that you're exactly right that the subconscious is there to protect us.
Mhm.
Whether, at least what it thinks is protecting us, keep us in the zone of what we're used to. And that may or may not be a good thing, but it's what we're used to.
Yeah, status quo, right?
Hmm.
And can you change your status quo? If you're here and this is the safe place, that can that be changed?
Most definitely. And if you resonate on the frequency that's up here, then you're going to see things that are also resonating in that frequency, and you'll be attracted to those things, and those things will be attracted to you. If you're resonating in a victim frequency and things keep happening to me, and you're in that really low frequency, that's all you're going to see, and that's all that's going to be attracted to you also. So new possibilities open up when you get yourself at a different frequency of energy.
Is there one like tip you can give us to uh sort of start challenging that frequency? Like, things are happening to me. Is there like a way that we could reframe that, say that differently, and start thinking about it differently, and start to at least make a crack in the ice there?
Find a new perspective for looking at anything. It can be a horrible situation. You know, all these forest fires that you get around in the Pacific Northwest, and oh, my home was destroyed. You get see one person interviewed and they're just in tears and everything's lost, and it's devastating. You see someone else interviewed and they're like, oh, all of our animals made it out safe, everybody's safe, and we can start over again and we will rebuild and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's the same situation, but it's two different perspectives of how you look at it, and will make a difference as to how you come out of it.
Let me ask you this question. Can you fake it till you make it? Can you say the things that maybe you don't believe yet, but you want to believe? Will that help?
It helps. It's not an end all
Right.
by any means. It's but it can help somehow change the energy. Like, I mean, the whole idea is we're trying to change that energy level within you, and the frequency with which you think and emit energy. And so saying those things, the more that you can bring in your senses and all five senses that you have, how it makes you feel, taste, see, smell,
Oh,
everything,
yeah.
and bring the senses in and really feel the emotion of what you're saying. The more you do that, the more you start convincing yourself.
Oh.
So it's not just flat out saying these things over and over again.
That's a really, really good point. And even just in learning, they tell you that the more senses you can use in learning information, the more you retain it. You see it, you write it down, you hear it. So you're
Mhm.
the more senses you have when you're learning something, the more ability you have to retain it. So this makes perfect sense that the more when you're trying to change your perspective and work on those things, the more senses you bring into that environment, the more successful that will be as well. Because we are whole beings. There's not one piece of us that is more important than the other pieces. And I could tell you some funny jokes about that story, and we won't. There's not one, nothing is more important. We all, as our bodies are all important, all of the systems, everything working together, we as humanity are much better, much stronger, more connected if we're all working together. And the same thing for your businesses. If you can connect your business, your energy, your heart, your soul, get reconnected with your why, along with systems, along with sales, along with client relations, along with all of the things that you have going on in your business. If you look at that as a whole entity and not just this piece of business over here and this piece of business over there and that thing over there, and you keep everything separate, that's actually working against you to have the success that you want to have in your business. Integrating all of the pieces is where you're going to find the success.
Very much so. And also have fun in the process.
I love fun. Fun's my favorite.
It's not all work.
No, no. There is a little bit of work, and the work can still be fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got to change your perspective on that, right?
Yep. Very much so. Yep.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Susan, this has been an amazing conversation. And there's so much more that you have that you can teach, that you can bring to our community. And so I want to invite our Profit Connectors into our Profit Connector Club, and we will have links to Susan's information and her free gift. And Susan, if you would like to tell them what will be waiting in the Profit Connectors Club for them, you could go ahead and do that.
It's what I call the feminine financial formula. And it's basically an introduction to 5 steps that you can take toward this prosperity and financial freedom. And it gives you a basic outline for them. I mean, you can do a lot just with understanding these 5 steps. And then the rest from there, if you need support and want help with it, I'm more than happy to offer that.
Wonderful. And I really appreciate the conversation today about you really did go into a lot more financial stuff that than I thought you would. So I really appreciate that you really kind of dug into that and and helped us see that this is all about it's all about it starts with us. It really does. And that the money thing is important and it can be understood, it can be accessed. It's not out of reach, it's not too much for you. It is available to you. So, Susan, thank you so much for bringing that perspective and bringing this information and for your free gift. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me.
You're welcome. Hey, Profit Connectors, that's it for another Profit Connections podcast. If you're ready to make moves and connections that take your business to the next level and get your gifts and resources, head over to the website profitconnectors.club. That's profitconnectors.club and get your goodies right now.